Hello, everybody. We have Manca today with us. And Manca, in two sentences, what was your business idea and how does it help the world?
Ooh, what a deep question. Thank you for having me, Robert. My business idea came purely naturally to help B2B companies how to use LinkedIn. But over the 8 years since I have been doing this, uh, how am I helping the world or each individual is on my workshops. Basically, I help them how to understand the platform and how to post it and so forth. But to go a little bit deeper, I feel I help them how to go public, how to kind of lose to a certain degree their fear of being kind of exposed on social
Mhm,
media, right?
mhm,
Because this is oftentimes a very big concern or fear of people. What
mhm,
will they say when I post this? If I post this, what will my boss say? What will my peers say? And
mhm,
so forth. And they don't have this confidence to post online. I didn't have it when I started 10
mhm,
years ago or a little bit longer than that, right? It's
mhm,
we kind of built it over time, but I tell them I wasn't confident, but I started my LinkedIn journey, and so you cannot be as well. So basically, I perceive myself as a LinkedIn therapist, although I'm not a therapist,
Okay.
but helper how to really use your wisdom and through educational content, put it into a LinkedIn environment here.
So,
in
so,
a in a short sentences.
so you're basically your clients are the beginners in LinkedIn or also uh, experienced LinkedIn users who want to get more, I don't know, leads, more customers, and you help them with that too.
Yeah, usually there are quite in the beginning of their journey, but my clients are bigger companies. They're not solopreneurs. I very rarely have clients as entrepreneurs and so forth. I have marketing teams, I have HR teams and
Hmm.
sales teams as well.
Hmm.
How to use LinkedIn to really present themselves. Oftentimes, their goal is purely, not purely, but more passive than active. Meaning, look, Mansa, we know we have to be on LinkedIn. We are on other socials as well, but we don't know how to start here on LinkedIn. Okay, so that's where I come in, right? So there are starters, but when I help them, usually sometimes they hire an agency to help them with the content, but usually they're not. They're just in stay that content creation stays in house, and they are confident then in a few months to post purely themselves. Yeah. So in short answer, usually they are beginners.
Can we reveal some of your business secrets right now? For instance,
Business.
I'm really curious. Do you suggest for the companies to have some, I don't know, ambassadors who
Mhm.
speak as the persons, so to have the personal brand, or do you suggest they work on the company side?
Mhm. You mean LinkedIn secrets or business secrets for the companies?
I don't
Something
know.
in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you mentioned ambassadors, this is a very good point because LinkedIn pages. So when companies are active with the communication on LinkedIn through LinkedIn page, we all know LinkedIn pages have very limited reach, right?
Mhm.
But on the other hand, when we activate people, LinkedIn profiles as ambassadors, they can really amplify the branding online.
Mhm.
But who are those ambassadors? It really depends on how are they beginners on LinkedIn or they are not. Usually, in this case, I say, look, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile already, probably you're not meant to be an ambassador because it's too early, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Usually we activate those that are already on LinkedIn meaning not necessarily active with content. What I search for is, are you active with logging into LinkedIn? Do you have a habit to log in a few times per, or at least once a week, to go through the feed, to perhaps like something or just read something, just to have a habit that LinkedIn is a platform to go to for connecting, for education, to really have this information from our industry uh, in our feed, what is going on, what are the events, who are the people to follow, and so forth, right? So it's easier to teach these kind of people to be active with the content than to start from scratch. Oh, you know why LinkedIn matters, right? So these are not suitable for ambassadors. So yeah, but this is a thing that me, myself, and my clients quite struggle, because in the beginning, when you activate a pilot program for ambassadors, everybody is very motivated. Oh, look, you look all the comments, look all the reach, look all the likes. Everybody is pumped, right? Oh, this is so amazing. If we post something, all this happens, right? But over time, over a few months, the lack of motivation, the lack of ideas what to post about, but we tend to do all the ideas, where to find them, not just through your brain, but with GPT and other tools as well, right? That motivation kind of drops. So this is the biggest struggle, right? But yeah, there must be at least one person in the company that is responsible for having this LinkedIn project inside, meaning let's motivate, let's have a conversation around it. I always do this. Look, you have to have conversation around LinkedIn like you do for team building events, right? This is something that is natural for people in companies to have this kind of conversation, but LinkedIn is usually not, right? So yeah, it is kind of, if you say a secret, it's not so secret, but it's perhaps a strategy to really have a point of view on LinkedIn. Look, LinkedIn is, yeah, it's a social platform, but is a conversation that we need to have regularly in our meetings, in our, I don't know, coffee breaks, right? Not meaning every coffee break to talk about LinkedIn, but LinkedIn to start being a conversation, regular conversation inside. Yeah, so this is not just a few workshops and then we're done, but this is a project that is going on all the time, right? So yeah, I'm not there yet to see, look, you have to, I cannot give you 7 things to do in order to have a success on LinkedIn, right? Like we are used to lately read all this LinkedIn content. But yeah, it is something that we have to kind of nurture
Yeah.
inside companies. Yeah,
It's like muscle. If you don't train them, you lose them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
And it's not just in marketing, it's not just in HR team. SEO has to be on it as well, right? Not necessarily active on LinkedIn, but I tell this to SEO all the time. Look, you have to show up, you have to loudly tell your people, your employees, that that LinkedIn is something that is that we motivate you to use, because there are companies that neglect it consciously, right? But SEO has to be the one who says, look, I'm not necessarily active, but I strongly motivate you to be, because this brings this to a company. But then we bring ourselves to the conversation. Do they know how powerful LinkedIn can be? Right.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a bigger conversation than just let's put LinkedIn as a social media into our communication strategy. Yeah. So this is the secret.
Yes, you have to strategize it a
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. How does it working with you usually start, and how does it goes? For how long, and how much? I don't know. Energy, time do they have to invest to see the results?
Yeah, I don't have a package that you can buy and go through the program.
Mm-hmm.
I really adjust to the needs of company,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we can have a one time or two time session or three time. More and more, I try to really tell my clients, look, we can have a few workshops how to optimize a profile, how to do the content, how to do the LinkedIn page content, how to mingle, how to network on LinkedIn. But I try to tell them, look, I will give you all my not all my knowledge, but I will give you the knowledge you need, the tools you need, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have to have this ongoing conversation and kind of a coaching. I don't like this word, but I don't know, mentoring, let's say, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm their helper when they struggle, when we say, oh, uh, I want to post something, but I'm not pretty sure how to do. And I say, look, send me the text on the email. And I really like to do this. They send me the text and I try to adjust to translate into LinkedIn language, I like to
Mm-hmm.
say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they know that I'm here for them if they need me. But yeah, my business model is usually I do from 1 to 4 or 5 workshops in house. Usually,
Mm-hmm.
I prefer live, so I go to their company,
Mm-hmm.
and we do, yeah, 3 hours usually,
Mm-hmm.
um, for LinkedIn content, for LinkedIn profiles. And you cannot believe how many profiles in big companies. I'm not saying about a new startup or something like that, but big companies that are decades on the market. How many people have empty LinkedIn profiles,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So I've been doing this for 8 years, but we still talk about the foundations, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to have LinkedIn profile, you have to have some content, you have to present yourself as an authority in your industry if you want to sell something, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But or on the other hand, if you want to be a recruiter on LinkedIn, it's a little bit different story, but you cannot do all the communication with the empty profile. So
Mm-hmm.
profile, content, networking, and then we go how to use LinkedIn for recruiting, how to use it for sales. And no matter what is your business goal on LinkedIn, I always say, this is my, let's say, specialty, okay? I really like to say, look, personalization is the key. Perhaps this
Mm-hmm.
can be a secret, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Especially from the GPT on. I'm not against AI, I use it daily, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we have a conversation with a person, we have to give them a feeling that we talk to a
Mm-hmm.
person, not
Mm-hmm.
one of thousands,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that this is the key, really,
Mm-hmm.
to really how to humanize our conversations, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we, I don't know, when I send an invitation to connect, uh, almost all the time, I send a note, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, I saw that we are in the same industry, or I really like that post you posted last week, whatever. I'm just making this up right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would love to connect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So something very personal, right? So, and if a person have a optimized profile, we can find a touch that we can
Yeah.
create a communication around.
Excellent. I like that stuff about starting with the basics because
Mm-hmm.
I read a lot about sports coaches because
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of inspiring for me. And with all these big and successful coaches, you see they all put a lot of effort and details on the basics. And
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the things that people usually forget, or they're seeking some bright shiny object, some new stuff,
Yeah.
some uh, newest adjustment.
Gadget.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and but it's usually all in the basics.
Yeah, of course. And like when we talk about, let's say, you inspired me with this amazing metaphor. Like, for what is the key to longevity or happiness in life, right? It's not in the, I don't know, a fancy new gadget or whatever. It's a good sleep. It's healthy food. It's I read um, a article, something like that, that the biggest thing for the longevity or for good life is the number of connections we have in
Hmm.
life, right?
Hmm.
But I don't talk about connections on LinkedIn, to be
Yeah,
fair,
of course.
okay? But the real connections, meaning not just with your spouse or partner or family or friends, but this was very fascinating to me, but as well with a person that you go to. I go to the market for the vegetables I always buy
Hmm.
in the neighborhood where I live, right? And I know those two women,
Yeah.
and that connection, right? That
Hmm.
brings. But this is very basic in life, having human connections,
Hmm.
sleeping, moving, and sports and so forth, right? The same is in on LinkedIn. If you want to really succeed on LinkedIn, it's not about new fancy thumbnail on your LinkedIn newsletter. Yeah, it's cool, but you have to be persistent. You have to show up consistently, right, for months or for years even, right?
Hmm.
This is basics, right? And I really am a trainer that points out this. I'm not into, oh, this is a new hack to hack the algorithm. Yeah, but your motivation will drop if you just run after all these new changes. We have to really embrace the boring basics
Hmm.
for years, and
Hmm.
then you can succeed, right? So it's
Hmm.
not a new fancy profile picture or something like that. Yeah, it helps for presentation, but it's not the secret to success, right? It never is. It's always the boring, consistent, basic activities, isn't it? Right? As in life, as in LinkedIn.
Yeah. For instance, for Manca, if she wants to be happy, she goes to the lake.
Exactly, exactly. And every time to a new one. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Besides LinkedIn, lakes are really my thing. Yeah.
Mm. Have you ever worked with a coach, a mentor, or somebody who inspired you or teaches you? And what was perhaps the best big business advice you received, or the worst
Hmm.
one?
The worst one, I don't remember, but I had a mentor in the beginning when I started my business the second time in 2017. I had a business coach for about a year or so, I think, but I was really, it was really for the basics, the pricing and so forth. But the biggest benefit I got from him was about networking, because I sucked at networking. Truly, I
Mhm.
it's not natural for me. I'm
Mhm.
an introvert. I like to go on my own or with my boyfriend to the lake, right? So it's
Mhm.
not natural for me to go alone, and I always go alone because I'm
Mhm.
a solopreneur to a
Mhm.
business event with hundreds of people, and I was struggling like crazy with that. And when he said to me, and networking, you see, it has this kind of anxious connotation, at least in my view, right? But when he said networking is just mingling, it's not like you have to go there. I was very anxious. I have to gather so many business cards. I have to have all these conversations with potential clients. I was really anxious about it, and I was obviously not successful with it. Well, I got a few conversations and so forth, but when I relaxed myself and I said, look, just go to a person and ask and say, look, I'm Ansa, who are you? And another point of view that I got from podcast, I believe, is really that in networking, what we have to do is listen, right?
Mhm.
I still am learning about that because I like to
Mhm.
talk, as you can see, and listen and ask good questions. And that was very kind of a milestone for me. Oh, because in order to ask a great question, you have to have quite a lot of knowledge about a certain topic, right?
Mhm.
So that is, but for networking, just to pose a honest question, how is your day? How is this event? What do you think about the latest presenter or something like that, right? Just to honestly talk to people. And that was really a big mind shift for me because I
Mhm.
was I was struggling. Really had this, oh, you have to have all these business cards. No, you just have to have honest conversations. This was the biggest for me.
Mhm. I think somebody said you have to be interested, not
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, good one. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly interested, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we have, look, we all have a secret agenda, right? On LinkedIn as well. Everybody wants to make business on LinkedIn. And we
Mhm.
go to business events in order to kind of create business opportunities.
Yeah.
We cannot um,
Deny that.
do without it, right? Even deny it exactly, right? But to be really honestly interested in other people's opinions,
Hmm.
uh, other people's, yeah, um, people in general. I'm still learning that, right? I used to be very interested in topics, but over time, over the years, I started, and my friend inspired me about this because he knows so much information about so many people, and I was like, how do you know all that stuff? How do you remember all that, right? But it
Hmm.
was so inspiring for me to really be interested in a person,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Not just in the industry they're working on in,
Hmm.
or the topics they are posting on LinkedIn, for example, but in person, right? And
Hmm.
that shift can really be felt on communication on LinkedIn and in life in on event. So
Absolutely.
this is a good one. Be interested, not interesting. You will be interesting if you are interested. You will
Yeah.
be interesting for people
Absolutely.
because we tend to like to talk about ourselves.
Mhm. I also think that most of the people don't like to sell, and if you shift the sell thing into the uh, perspective that you want to help,
Hmm.
it shifts the minds for you and for the potential client, and it's much easier because you know, okay, he's struggling. I usually like to have this uh, uh, example when you're selling fire extinguishers, and you came to my house and you suck at selling, and you fail to sell me that fire extinguisher, and I'm cooking the dinner, and I put my house on fire, and the house is burned because you're a lousy saleswoman. You're not helping me.
Where is Robert now?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, good one. Yeah, this is oldie but goldie, right? That we really help because in my case, people do struggle with LinkedIn,
Mhm.
right? Or
Mhm.
I struggle with LinkedIn sometimes, obviously, because
Yeah.
it's changing all the time.
Mhm.
And the people struggle, and I'm here to help, right? So this is and another thing about the selling conversation, right? People don't want to be sold to, but they like to buy.
Mhm.
Right. So another,
Yeah.
if you are on LinkedIn, of course you want to buy, you want to sell. We are here for business. We're not here because
Absolutely.
we have an hour of spare time per day. I'm
Yeah.
paraphrasing. We're here to help each other in order to do business, something like that, right?
Mhm.
Whatever that business means to you. Some people want to find a new job on LinkedIn, right? Or investors, or just new information of events that you can go to and meet people live, right? So yeah, and it's and another thing on LinkedIn, if you want to sell on LinkedIn, be a helper, don't be a seller, right?
Mhm.
And this is went bonkers on LinkedIn because oftentimes when I got everybody, when you get an invitation to connect and you accept, the first thing in the next minute you get a sales pitch, right? But come on, who
Yeah.
buys like that, right? Not everybody, but a lot of people sell like that, but nobody buys in that way, right? Who are you? Where are you from? I don't even know your name. What is going on right now? I don't want to
Mhm.
be sent to have a conversation with me. Be genuinely interested, right?
Yeah.
In me.
Yeah.
Perhaps I'm not even in your target audience. Why are you reaching me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the biggest secret on LinkedIn I would like to present is just be human, right? Be human to human on LinkedIn. It's not a LinkedIn profile; it's a human besides that LinkedIn photo, right? So yeah.
Excellent. So you have quite a business path under your belt. So what surprised you most on this entrepreneurial journey?
The level of anxiety I got from it.
Oh.
To be truly honest, um, it was never on my radar to be an entrepreneur. I started my entrepreneurial journey because I didn't find any job for me.
Mm-hmm.
This was my and when I started the first time, I was in 2014. I
Mm-hmm.
got laid off from one of the companies, and I said, "Oh, what should I do now? Okay, I'll start being an entrepreneur." I have no idea where that came from. Right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't come from entrepreneurial family. I just got the idea. But I went to the job back after a year, and
Mm-hmm.
then back in 2017 again, after being laid off, I said, okay, again, this is again, I will just go have my own business, be a LinkedIn trainer because I used LinkedIn for my journey, for my personal brand, and I know how to do it. I will know how to teach others how to do it. So this was very natural for me. But yeah, over the years, and it was very successful. When I started my business, I was successful. I didn't have those first period of time that you struggle to find clients and so forth because I had a brand, right? And LinkedIn helped me with that, and events, obviously, and portals and so forth. But yeah, over the years, I struggle with how to adjust to a new environment on LinkedIn or how LinkedIn changes and all these AI conversations, right? So yeah, I got quite a level of anxiety to deal with it, right? And I'm a solopreneur. I don't have a mentor. I don't have a I do have conversations with my friends about it, right? And what helps me really is that probably I'm not the only one struggling with that, right? Sooner
Mm-hmm.
or later, you get to the point that business starts to be more like a heart rate than just a straight line up, right?
Okay.
So, but I try to use it as a um, I don't know, situation to learn how to be resilient. I'm not there yet, right? But yeah, this is because when I started, I was like, oh, everything is cool. Now I'm not the only one. When I started, I was the only LinkedIn trainer, and I am not. LinkedIn has changed. I have changed. My values has have changed tremendously in the
Mm-hmm.
last few years, and yeah, I struggle with this kind of topics, and perhaps I should change my business model. This is for my more for the entrepreneurial journey. So a lot of things surprised me how over time you can get to a wall and okay, now what, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now what? Because you used to uh, having all the cool times, right? But then all of a sudden, yeah, but it probably I try to really use it as okay, this is something the lesson I have to have, lesson I have to learn, and I read a lot about how to all of tools how to be really emotional resilient
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not there yet, right? So yeah, entrepreneurship is a very interesting, dynamic uh, environment to be in,
Never
right? And
boring.
I'm not necessarily built for it, but yeah, but you see, the thing is, right? I really like to have this question that really helps me in my life in general, which is, does this belong to my life? Meaning a job, project, friend, a client, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Does this belong to me? This
Mm-hmm.
really helps, and even sounds more beautiful in English than it does in Slovenian language.
Mm-hmm.
So this does this belong to me? And when I honestly ask myself that question and answer it, entrepreneurship does belong to me,
Mhm.
but it is stressful, right? It is.
Mhm.
Uh, but it is what it is. So if I went to, I had a few ideas. Oh, I want to have a job. Want to just have a job and have stability and all the safety and so forth, right?
Mhm.
This is the thing I struggle with, right? Because there's no stability, no safety in
Mhm.
being an entrepreneur. But then again, I feel that I would suffocate a big part of me if I went to have a job to one in one company, no matter the company, right? And just be kind of in that situation. So this is my, yeah, my entrepreneur secret or my life hack. The question, it's not a life hack. I'm kidding, but it is for me, right? Does this belong to me? And
Mhm.
when you honestly can answer this question, honestly, you just have a conversation with yourself. You don't have
Mhm.
to have a mentor because they don't know. Only you know, right? But
Yeah.
you have to be really honest with yourself, right?
Mhm.
Do you do because the society expects you to do, or your family expects you to do, or you expect you to do, right?
Yeah.
These are
Mhm.
very, very honest questions you have in silence with yourself, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, perhaps this entrepreneurship made me a philosopher as well, right? But yeah, but then again, if you have safety, if you have stability, if everything is cool and stable, right? You are even more stuck, right? So
Mhm.
you are not motivated to shift yourself or to, I don't know, reinvent yourself, right? I'm doing right now. I'm in a reinventing period, and
Mhm.
it's hard,
Mhm.
right? It's not pleasant,
Mhm.
but I have lakes that really have fun with that. And
Excellent. Yeah.
I write books and I write hundreds of social posts around lakes and so forth. Yeah, but lakes, on the other hand, right? We touched a little bit on that topic. Um, they're really helpful because they really kind of center me, right? They bring me to my center because LinkedIn doesn't. LinkedIn is my business, and LinkedIn is amazing. I have so many connections, human connections, because of my business, right?
Mhm.
And I always say LinkedIn has helped me to really learn how to have relationship with others, right?
Mhm.
To network and to have to teach its relationship, to be a teacher to others, right? But lakes are a teacher for relationship with myself,
Mhm.
right? So I have both in my life. So yeah, when I when I go to lakes and in nature in general, right? There are so many really articles and science around it, how helpful nature really is. It's all
Mhm.
physics, right? Uh, for us psychologically and physiologically, that really helps.
Mhm.
So yeah, a long answer to a short question.
Yeah, so
But
at the
yeah,
bottom line, we could say you're grateful you haven't get the job at the beginning and you get into this entrepreneurial path.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you asked me if I'm grateful. Well,
yeah.
yeah, because I believe it was meant to be, right? It was meant to be. Look, LinkedIn business was never on my life plan.
Mm-hmm.
I studied tourism, right? I
Mm-hmm.
thought I will be a tourist guide,
Mm-hmm.
right? But now I'm LinkedIn trainer, right? So you never know, but another life hack, I really tried to listen to my intuition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I was the first time an entrepreneur, it was my intuition: go have your own business. What? I don't even look, to be honest, there are a lot of aspects of being an entrepreneur that I still don't know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to do. But
Mm-hmm.
then again, if you are an employee, there are a lot of things you have to know. And I believe a lot of people don't know that either, right? Everything. I'm really grateful because I have, how to say, developed so much, right? I have gained so many skills, probably even more than I'm aware of, right? Because I'm a LinkedIn trainer. And I believe that I'm in more help in the world because of this
Mhm.
role of mine, right? And yeah, of course, there are aspects of it that I don't like, right?
Mhm.
But then again, to listen to my intuition, I have to be here. I struggle with a lot of aspects I don't want to even mention, but still, it does belong to me. I have to go through this, right? It had to be a part of my journey, right? And
Mhm.
like I said, it was never on my plan to be
Mhm.
an entrepreneur, let alone a LinkedIn trainer, right? I have no idea where I will be in 10 years, right? So, and this is interesting, right? Because if I would be in a stable job, probably I wouldn't have the empty space in my mind to think about all the stuff I am because of I am an entrepreneur, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm very grateful. I'm really uh I try to be grateful daily because being grateful is very beneficial for our bodies, right?
Absolutely.
Because of the situation I'm in, because I'm really in a cool situation in life in general. And this is
Mhm.
something I really think about as an entrepreneur as well. Am I happy in general? Happy meaning I'm not happy all the time. I'm not happy every day. But
Mhm.
am I content with my lifestyle, with my life in general? I am very much, right? And this matters the most,
Mhm.
right? Probably I wouldn't be as happy or as joyful if I would be, I don't know, in a job. And I don't want to underestimate companies and underestimate having a job, but it doesn't belong to me, at least not in this period of time. Perhaps in 5 years, who knows, right?
Mhm.
I try to learn to surrender to look, life has all these plans for me. Let's see what it what it has, right? So yeah, I'm not going anywhere as LinkedIn trainer because I love it. I struggle with a lot of things, obviously, about LinkedIn, about being an entrepreneur, about working from home. It's very comfort zone to be working from home, right? I struggle with that as well. Sometimes I miss conversations daily. I miss somebody to talk to, the business conversations, right? But yeah, I'm exactly where I should be, I believe. And this is for me very important
Excellent.
conversation I have
So
with myself. Yeah.
if I try to summarize this for somebody who is thinking of being entrepreneur or starting their own business, I would say start with wherever you are, with whatever you know, and figure it out along the way, and just try it. Would you say that?
Yeah, of course. And this a very good point. And another point I would say, ask yourself in silence, very honestly, do you really want to do it? Or you want to do it because your friend does it, or you
Mhm.
saw a post on Instagram that everybody does it, right?
Mhm.
Honestly, and when I started, these conversations on social wasn't that big,
Mhm.
being an
Mhm.
entrepreneur and I don't know what else that comes with it, right? I just went to it because I didn't see any other way at that point,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I left the entrepreneurial journey after a year and then went on again after 2 years, right?
Mhm.
So first, yeah, you can never have business plan that will be 100%. Fun
Mhm.
fact, I had never had a business plan whatsoever. I
Mhm.
just went. I don't-
Mhm.
it's not a recommendation. If you have
Mhm.
one, do
Mhm.
it. Okay.
Mhm.
If you feel you have to do it. Right.
Mhm.
But really, you will find along the way all the things you have to learn.
Mhm.
Probably you don't have all the skills you must have, right? But yeah, if you go look, LinkedIn is one thing that is a must, but not because I teach it, because or Facebook or Instagram, whatever you do, social in
Mhm.
general
Mhm.
are very, very, very important
Mhm.
channels to market nowadays.
Mhm.
You cannot do it without, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, if you want, get a mentor and be really, really honest with yourself. Where do you lack knowledge or lack skills? I was very honest. I had no idea how to be a networker, and
Mm-hmm.
I had to be taught that, right? And I'm still learning. It's still not natural for me. I have a like oftentimes when I go, especially to the big events, right? And I try to breathe deeply and say, okay, now romance a networker, come out, right? It's not natural for me, but I can play a role to do it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
more, and I try to enjoy it, and I do enjoy it. And now it's easier because I know all the people, and I go to all the people I know because it's a comfort zone, and then I
Yeah.
start to meet new ones, right? So of course you will find some easier ways to do, but yeah, it's a cool journey, but it's not for everyone. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, it's a narrative in our society that everybody can be a million, or should be an entrepreneur. Everybody should be a business, a personal brand, or a millionaire, or what else, right? No, not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily. So be really honest, and yeah, really think about the idea or what will be the services, right? But
Mm-hmm.
when I started, I knew that there were no one on the market to do it, and I knew the market needed that. So it was a strategic um, kind of way to do it, but more from the intuition side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if I
Yeah,
said
excellent.
anything new, but
Mm-hmm.
this is from me to them, right? Just really, really, because I'm on socials so much, right? And I'm one of those who like to, unfortunately, compare myself to others, right? We always compare ourselves to others on socials, and this is so toxic. This is
Mm-hmm.
toxic for our inner world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So be really honest. Is this really something that you want? And another thing, I'm not sure if um, money is the correct goal for being an entrepreneur, right? I want to be an entrepreneur because I want to make a lot of money.
I
Yeah,
think
it is a consequence.
uh,
Sorry?
yes, I think if the money is the goal, then you failed at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a consistent strategy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Consistent, I mean, can you be in that position in 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Can you fake your ambition for 10 years? I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure that you can do it, or I'm sure you shouldn't do it, right?
Yeah.
Perhaps you can, but you shouldn't, right? So this is, yeah, this is something that, yeah, it goes all around the socials, right? Be yourself, find what you really like to do. Yeah, and there's a lot of truth in that, right? But yeah, it is a cool thing if you feel you have to do it. I just felt I had to do it. It was the same with Lake Project. I felt I had to do it. I
Mm-hmm.
had zero rational reason to do it, and still have after 8 years. I have much more expenses with my Lake Project than I have profit, right?
Yeah.
But zero rationality here, but I have to do it, and I don't care. I feel I have to do it, and for me, that is the only reason I do it, right?
I think
Yeah,
Mel Robbins once said, and but I think that's only reliable for the entrepreneurs or people like us. That if you have an idea, it will hunt you down until you make it true.
yeah. If you really have an idea that you have to implement,
Yeah.
right? But we have a lot of ideas. I have so many ideas, right? But I'm really tend to look. Another thing, when you go to socials, you cannot, if you are one man band or one woman band like I am, you cannot be everywhere. It's
Mhm.
just, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And I remember my decision for TikTok, for example. Do I have to be on TikTok? Perhaps I should be, but I'm not there because I cannot be consistent on so many socials. I'm consistent
Mhm.
on three,
Mhm.
four. 4 entities. I have 2 entities on Facebook and Instagram account and LinkedIn profile,
Mhm.
right? 4 entities. And it's, you cannot imagine how much time I invest in
Mhm. Yeah.
those, right? But
Mhm.
it's become my habit. But yeah, you have to be online, but start slowly. And yeah, don't think you can be consistent on 10 social, on 5 socials everywhere, consistent with, even with AI, because nowadays it's so much easier to post content online, right? But you must not forget, at least this is my opinion. This is my opinion. Okay, let's put it that way. Every time I post online, I use AI for, I help myself with AI, especially for the grammar in English,
Mhm.
because I'm not
Mhm.
native in English, right? But every time I post online, I put a little myself, I give some of my energy, right? And
Mhm.
you deplete yourself throughout
Yeah, absolutely.
the day. If you post 5 times a day, you deplete your energy, and it's
Mhm.
not sustainable. I know it sounds philosophical, but I
Mhm.
have been here for 10 years and more, so
Mhm.
I know this. There is a connection, right? Just yeah, I lost my line of thought. But when you go on socials, you really have to, with that, you have to be strategic. Where can I be consistent and be one? I said that to my clients. I know that I try to post twice a week on LinkedIn. I'm not that consistent with twice. I'm consistent with once, right?
Mhm.
But I said to clients, post twice a month. Start
Mhm.
with that.
Mhm.
Start with that, and you'll see
Mhm.
how it goes, right?
Mhm.
It's not a lot. It's 20 posts per year.
Yeah.
It's like you can create them in 1 hour.
Mhm.
But will you do it? Will you be there? Will you be there with your consciousness, with your attention, with you post it, right? This is something that we neglect in our conversations when you talk about content creation and being really active online, right?
Mhm.
But it is true, at least after a few years of consistency
Mhm.
being on socials.
Excellent. I think we tackled a lot of interesting subjects today, and thank you for your wisdom. Any final thoughts? I think we are way over the hour, but it was so interesting that we got
Yeah.
carried away.
A final thought, really, we have to learn, myself included, we have to learn as an entrepreneurs, if we talk about entrepreneurship, to really be honest with ourselves in silence
Hmm.
and ask ourselves big questions, and answer them honestly.
Hmm.
Really, without mentors, without your partners, just with yourself. Are you really in the place you want to be, or you're programmed to be, to think you have to be in that place? This is something that is not connected so to entrepreneurship with LinkedIn or with legs, whatever hobbies. But this is truly because I have been in entrepreneurship and in this project of mine, the leg project, so many years, that has have really impacted the way how I live, the way how I think, how I feel day to day.
Hmm.
So it's really important that we select ourselves a position that's, that we are comfortable, not comfortable, but kind of peaceful with. Not comfortable necessarily. Entrepreneurship is not comfortable, but peaceful, right? That we truly feel, yeah, this is really who I need to be or needs to become as an entrepreneur.
And I like the
Uh,
question that you put before. Does it really? Do I
yeah.
need this
Does this
in my
belong to
life?
me?
Yeah. Does
Does
this
this belong
belong?
to me? Does this belong to me? This is a big question, and only you have the answer for. And we have to be honest with these conversations. I
Let's
don't
wrap
expect
it.
to do yeah.
Yeah, let's wrap it up with this. I think we gave our listeners a lot to think of by
Yeah.
themselves, which is, I think, for most of the people today, one of the hardest things. because you have to
It
put your
is.
phone away. You don't you cannot look on TikTok or as
Yeah.
ChatGPT. You have to ask yourself and be honest. And people are not used to do that anymore, I think.
Yeah, we have so many distractions, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the phone and so many other things, that we forget to really look into ourselves and ask those questions, right? And then again, it's not just for the business, it's not just for the entrepreneurship. It goes with our friendships, it goes with our hobbies, it goes with our marriages, if you're married, or relationships, right? It
Mm-hmm.
goes with everything. And yeah, I really ask myself that questions in the last few years, because of the business, because of the project, the dynamics of my life is really big, right? And internal, especially, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially internal dynamics. Um, that I have to ask those questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel that I am out of um, sort of balance if I just go with the flow of socials or anything like that, right? But yeah, this is the skill of the future, I believe, right? Of all this digital, I have been in digital marketing nearly 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I believe the future skills for a good life. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
talking about business. I'm talking about having a good life
Mm-hmm.
inside, is really those skills: emotional resilience, being honest with ourselves, have a skill to put phone away. I still learn that, right? But I'm an introvert. I tend to have a lot of conversations on my own. But if you're not, you have to spend some time on your own to have those questions and these human skills, and really to manage your own inner world. I believe it's the biggest asset we can have in the next, not the next few years, in the future, because we forget that our body, our inner world is a tool, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we don't have any I don't know, instructions how to use it, but we have to learn how to use it. And legs really gave me that. Legs really gave me that. How I respond to the water is insane. It's so amazing that it really inspires me. And yeah, it's really something. Through the lakes, I have these conversations with myself I didn't have 5 years ago. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is my, and this is, when we have business conversations, I always tend to just go to that path of, are we okay in ourselves, not as
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs but as people, right? Because it's a crazy world, but
Yeah.
this is something we have to focus on. And now I'll stop talking. I
Well,
really
thank
like
you.
those conversations because they are important. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really really. You shared a lot of wisdom, and I think anybody who listened and used it will be beneficial. So
Yeah, hope so, hope so.
thank you for a lovely talk, and good night.
Thank you for having me.